I'm going to quote legendary former heavyweight champion Larry Holmes. He said the following about Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. I quote, "I would have knocked Fury out. I would have hit him in the body, head, then circled around. Hit him with right hands and left hooks. I ain't going to stand there and trade with him like Wilder did. It ain't no match. You think Ernie Shavers would have been out there and quit? Muhammad Ali would quit? No. Joe Frazier quit? No. Kenny Norton quit? No. They would fight you until you ain't got no fight left in you. But Wilder quit." So those are the words of Larry Holmes. Now, Deontay Wilder did not quit. You can say whatever you want to say about Deontay, and I've said a whole heap of things about him. He definitely did not quit in that Tyson Fury rematch. Perhaps Larry Holmes doesn't realize that Wilder's team threw in the towel. Maybe that's why he's saying he quit. Or maybe he knows that Wilder's team threw in the towel and he's just talking about Wilder's attitude in the fight. Wilder just maybe resigned himself to to defeat mentally. And perhaps Holmes picked up on that. But more than likely, it's just Larry Holmes being Larry Holmes. For those of you who are newer boxing fans who maybe don't know much about the career of Larry Holmes, Holmes has always been a very abrasive character. He was always like that. When he was heavyweight champion, he said disparaging things about Muhammad Ali, who is his mentor. And I say disparaging things because he would come out saying he was better than Muhammad Ali, which was a real no-no right off the back of Ali leaving the sport. And obviously Larry Holmes beat Ali in Ali's penultimate fight. So he also famously said that Rocky Marciano couldn't carry his jockstrap. So he was constantly saying uncomplimentary things about fighters from the past who he felt the press were comparing him to unfavorably. And then obviously as his career went along, he continued with his sharp tongue. When Mike Tyson came along, Larry Holmes was saying a lot of negative things about Mike Tyson, including in the lead up to their fight. And this is how Larry Holmes continued on throughout his career fighting, and even after he finished fighting. When Lennox Lewis came onto the scene, Larry Holmes was saying really negative things about Lennox Lewis. That's just how Larry Holmes is. He's a guy with a sharp tongue who tends to say negative things for a long time before he'll say anything positive about you. And I guess that's the competitive spirit in him. Maybe it's also some envy, because Larry Holmes was never embraced as a heavyweight champion the way that Muhammad Ali was, the way that Joe Louis was, the way that Mike Tyson was, the way that so many other champions were. He was never embraced like that by the American public or the public worldwide. And that was always a bugbear of Larry Holmes. He was always just upset by the fact that he never got the adulation, he never got the love from the public that some of his contemporaries got, or people who came after him. You know, some people who came before and some people who came after. So Larry Holmes was known as a very bitter heavyweight champion and a bitter man in general. And still is, by the looks of it. He can't let the new generation live. He has to come out and start saying negative things about them. Now, maybe he really feels that way in his heart, but, you know, there is such a thing as diplomacy. And sometimes it's best to exercise it a little bit. But, you know, Larry Holmes is who he is. He speaks with a sharp tongue. He doesn't have much good to say about heavyweights. Occasionally he'll say something complimentary. I know he said some complimentary things about AJ in the past. He might have said a few complimentary things about Daniel Dubois, I think. But seriously, people, those things are few and far between. Normally when Larry Holmes is talking about other heavyweights, he's talking negatively. It's been this way for decades. So if you're a Wilder fan or a Fury fan, I wouldn't take it to heart. It's just Larry being Larry. That's just what he does. He's a negative guy. And in terms of would he have beaten Tyson Fury, who knows? I think Tyson Fury is probably better than Larry Holmes realizes. You know, Tyson Fury is not, what's that guy called? Eric Eklund. He's not some guy like that who was a big dude from the 70s. He's not Jerry Cooney, someone who Larry Holmes fought. Tyson Fury is way better than those guys. So I think that, Larry might be a little out of touch there. And again, Deontay Wilder did not quit in the fight. So I don't know where Larry's going with that. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Maybe you've got a different interpretation of Larry Holmes' comments in terms of saying that Deontay Wilder quit. Maybe you agree with him. If so, let me know in the comments, people. It's happening. I'm out.